This is Nick from nickmavromatisproductions. Today I'm going to show you how I use bass channels to enhance the drum sound in a mix. So there are a lot of videos explaining how parallel compression works, but they usually only cover one style of parallel compression, while I'm going to show you 3 parallel compression techniques. Plus, I will also be showing you 2 more tricks to enhance your drum mix. Again, we're going to be using bass channels for this. So let's see what we got here. By the way, this track is from a band called the Omniscientist. They are a really cool band, so if you're into modern progressive metal stuff, go check them out. I have a link in the description. Let's go into the mix window. I have the bass channels muted right here. So let's clear all the plugins and start from the beginning. Okay, now because as you've probably heard, my drum kit is mixed really tight. It doesn't have much decay or sustain. So first thing I'm going to cover here is how you can give your drum kit some growth, some body, let's say. So I'm going to start using an API 2500. I'm going to set a really fast attack and release because these settings are going to give my kit decay. Different types of compression will give you different results in the transients of the sound. And yeah, before I start playing with the threshold button, I want to show you this really cool function this API has. It is at the tone region, the thrust knob. This indicates that if I choose normal, if I set the knob to normal as it is now, the compressor will act equally for the frequencies at all the spectrum of the sound. Everything will be compressed equally. But if I choose loud or medium, this means that the compressor will act differently in the low and high frequencies. It will compress the lower frequencies less and the higher frequencies will be compressed harder. So I'm going to choose medium because I don't want the lower frequencies to be compressed equally with the higher ones. Because in the kick, the toms and the snare, the body is found at 250 Hz approximately and above. 250 is for the snare, and for the toms it's lower and the kick is even lower. Yeah, I think this is it. Fixed the threshold so that it compresses about 9 dB. Let's hear the difference without. Again with compressor on. Okay, I will add again an API. I did this just to reset the settings. What I'm going to do now is what I would do if, let's say, I didn't mix my drums so tight. And I would like to add some snap or some punch to the drums. I would set the attack slower and the release to slower. Attack about 10 milliseconds and release at about 500. Let's match the gain. Okay, so what this does is let it make the compressor triggered slower at the beginning of a sample. And the attack of the sound comes into the compressor. It is prevented from being compressed, resulting into a much punchier sound. The slower the release, the slower the compressor will stop compressing the signal resulting in compressing more of the transients of the sample. So this will remove probably some of the unwanted decay. Last technique I'm going to show you here, I'm going to use a pig child, which is one of my favorite compressors when it comes to parallel compression, and I'll show you why. As you see, it has 2 meters on the left. By default, you can only compress all the signal with the same settings, but if you choose the left-right setting here, you can have 2 individual compressors compressing differently the left and the right signal. And if you choose the lat-ver option, the compressor functions as a mid-side one. This means that you can compress differently what's on the center and what's on the sides. So I'm going to choose lat-ver function and start playing with it. What I really like about this function is that it allows me to apply different settings on the cymbals and different settings on the kick and snare. Also, this function, I think it gives it a wider, nicer stereo image. Plus, I really like the tone of this compressor. It makes the kick sound so nice, really. So let's match the settings right here. Okay, so let's without compressor, but with compressor. Compressor bypassed and bypassed. Okay, so that covers the 3 compression techniques, and now I will show you really quick. Let's create another bus if you haven't already created one, and let's add a reverb to it. I added an Altiverb. It's a really nice reverb plugin. If you don't have it, it doesn't matter, you can do this with any reverb plugin. This is a convolution reverb, so I'm going to choose an IR of a room. Because we wanted room mics for our kit, now I'm going to use an impulse response, which is recorded in an actual room. The particular impulse response I chose is recorded on an actual studio. It's a really big and really expensive studio. And the even better thing about this impulse response is that, as you see, it has a brick drum ISO. This is the name of the file. The brick drum ISO is recorded on a drum booth, so this is really nice, and I chose this one. So again, let's this was the second trick, and the third trick I am going to use again an Altiverb where I am sending only the snare. And this time we're going to use the reverb as an effect and not as a room simulation, let's say. We want it to be more noticeable, but we have to be careful to not overdo with this. You need a pair of really good monitors so that you don't mess your mix with too much reverb. Okay, so I'm going to open this Trakai Castle Dungeon Impulse Response that I found I like. It's about 1.6 seconds. The best duration about the reverb where you're going to send the snare, I think, is about 1.5 to 2.2 or 2.3 maximum, I think. Because more than that would be too much, it would mess up your mix. Less wouldn't be too noticeable. So what I'm going to do here is add a compressor to it again. This is a really nice trick I thought of myself. Okay, so this is the trick here. I'm going to add a compressor with which I am going to louden the volume of the sustain of the reverb. It will not make its duration longer, but it will make it sound longer without actually being longer in duration. So this is the trick. It's going to louden the tail of the reverb and the snare. It's going to make the reverb more noticeable, but it will not increase the duration of the reverb, so it will not mess up with your mix. Plus, it will make your snare drum sound even fatter. So let's open up all our buses, fix the volumes to what I like to do in the mix. Okay, this is the room mics. Let's hear the difference. Okay, I'm gonna lower this a little bit. Without the room mics and without the simulation of the room mics and with. Okay, now let's bring up our reverb for our snare. Yeah, okay, this more of this would be too much. Listen to the difference. Okay, and this is without the parallel compression bus channel and with. So, this is it. Thank you all for watching. I hope you found this tutorial informative and learned something maybe. If you did, please subscribe. If you like the sound of what you heard and you want to contact me for producing you or your band, you have all the info you need in the description. See you soon.